Yo, what's going on YouTube? This your boy Kamen Rider Zero Spike back again once again. And today, people, today we're here for Kamen Rider Geats episode 9. It is the end of the DGP, man. It is the end. We got two face reveals, and we got a winner, and we got the winner of the DGP and a brand new form that looks pretty freaking cool. I don't know. It wasn't what I expected. This form. It wasn't what I expected, and also the method of getting it wasn't what I expected. But this basic episode starts off with our three riders who are getting ready to take on the final boss, Yamato, which is actually still alive, and we see that the game perimeter is also expanding, and we see that the Yamato. We hear from Geats that the Yamato are starting to adapt. They are starting to evolve and also starting to get stronger. So we have to do the same as well. So we see that the big final boss Yamato actually eats the can that they have to kick. He finds it and eats it, and now they have to find a way to kick the can even though it's inside of the monster. So we get the reveal of the game master. The game master comes in and he basically assigns them this mission, telling them that he's basically telling them that, hey, you guys have to defeat this thing before it keeps getting any stronger. So he gives them 3 eggs, and everybody basically gets all 3 of our riders end up getting these 3 eggs that they have to nurture. They have to nurture these eggs, and when they hatches, they will get a special item from these eggs. So we did see that as the Yamato attack happens, they end up going off to fight the Yamato and the final boss again. When we see this, they basically have to take the eggs with them and nurture the eggs. While that happens, we see that Yamato ended up killing a bunch of people. They ended up taking out a family and a baby, which was like, oh my god, they got kind of dark. They ended up killing a baby and killing a bunch of other people. That's when our riders come in as he start fighting these monsters, and we see that Geats is kind of talking to his egg, telling the egg like, yeah, you're gonna be the best, you're gonna be awesome, stuff like that, like just nurturing the egg. And we see that Neon actually loses her egg, and at some point she gets it back though, and we actually see that while that's happening, the final boss ends up disappearing again. We go back to the headquarters, and we see that everybody's talking about, like, Geats is like, Geats is like, yeah, you guys should just back out now, man. I got this, I'm gonna win at the end, so what y'all even trying for? That's basically how he is. We always, like, that's how Geats always freaking is. Homeboy is always like, yeah, man, we're gonna, like, guys, you guys can't win, man. Just let it go. We see that Buffer's like, no, I'm going to win this game. I can't give up just because I'm reckless or courage or whatever. Like, I'm going to win this game, and I'm going to end up beating you. Neon also agrees, and she basically says the same thing of, like, I've come so far in this game that I'm not going to lose. Like, so we end up seeing that everybody's eggs, well, Neon and Buffer, their eggs end up hatching. We see that their eggs end up hatching, and they end up becoming buckles. They're special items that are buckles. And basically I'm like, oh, so are these Yamato eggs, or are all the eggs like all the buckles like this? Did all the buckles hatch from eggs? That's how I feel. Like, did all the buckles hatch from eggs? Did the boost knuckle hatch from an egg? But we end up seeing that Neon ends up getting a propeller buckle, and Buffer ends up getting a drill buckle, which I love drills. Girl, log on, I love drills. So they end up getting that. We end up seeing that they end up going back again for the next day. The next day is going to be the final fight with this with the boss Yamato. So everybody's like, kind of basically saying, like, basically just going through the motions of, like, hey, this is getting ready for this final fight and stuff like that. Everybody kind of talks about their wishes and stuff, and we see that Neon, she goes live, starts talking to her fans and things like that, saying that, hey, I need my fans, like, support, stuff like that. We see that Buffer, and he's walking, and he ends up running into his homeboy that got killed. And I don't know if that was really him. I think it was just like I think it might have just been like a vision or something he was just seeing, because we know that his bro Toru is dead. So he ends up talking to Toro. He basically, and Toro's like, "Hey, I can't believe you ended up in the DGP too." Like, and he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, of course I did. Something wrong with that?" And he's like, "I'm gonna avenge you. You will have your revenge and stuff like that." Because we know that Toru got, he got killed by, well, he got set up by these two DGP riders, which still the theory out there that, oh, these guys were DGP like staff members and stuff. So we see that also Geats is kind of like training, doing some punches and stuff, and he's like, "Mom, I will find you," because we know that Geats is only in this game so he can find his mother. So yeah, so but his egg still isn't hatching. He doesn't know why his egg isn't hatching yet. So we see that Neon and Buffa, they're getting ready to fight the big army of Yamato and the final boss as well. We end up seeing that they're fighting in both of them. We see that they're using their new knuckles, and they're using their new buckles and stuff like that. And it gets to a point where they start getting overwhelmed. We see that Geats ends up showing up, still wondering why his egg just won't hatch. Earlier in the episode, he did call his egg a late bloomer. He called his egg a late bloomer. So hopefully, it pays off. We'll get to there, but it pays off. So we end up seeing they're still fighting all these Yamato, stuff like that. Everybody's getting their butts kicked. We did see that Buffa and Neon did try to do like a combo attack. Not on purpose, but they kind of did like a combo attack on the boss Yamato, but it severely didn't work. So we saw that Geats early in the episode did find out where the can actually is. It's actually in the monster's like chest area. So they trying to find a way to basically get to the can or make it throw it up or something like that. So we see that everybody kind of still getting their butts kicked. Geats comes and kind of rescues the both of them, and he basically tells he said, "Look, you guys can't do this. Just wait for my egg to hatch." And Buffer's like, "No, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm going to win this game." They've beaten him to the point where his face is cracked, one of his horns is broken, Buffer's messed up. So he still stands up and he's like, "I will win this game." The reason why the zombie buckle, I resonate with the zombie buckle so much, because death doesn't frighten me. I will live through death, all this stuff like that. Just this ultimate righteous type of speech he gives. And the boss Yamato is getting ready to finish Buffer off, but then that's when Geats runs in and he's like, "Oh, okay, that's how you did it." So he runs in and he uses his egg to block the monster's attack, and that's what causes his egg to hatch. He blows the monster back and it hatches into a new buckle called the Monster Buckle, and that's when we get the debut of Kamen Geats with his monster form. And he ends up using this form and it looks really cool, and he ends up one-shotting this. It's like, yeah, he ends up, it's a punching kind of form. So he ends up one-shotting the boss Yamato. He ends up punching it, and he ends up punching the can out of it, and the can basically gets destroyed while inside of the monster, and the boss Yamato ends up flying off into orbit and blows up. And I was like, yo, you just freaking One Punch Man Saitama this thing. Like consecutive normal punches. But that's when he ends up defeating the monster, and Buffer's like, "Why did you save me?" Stuff like that. He said, "Well, you kind of motivated me, and you taught me something, so thanks a lot, Teach." And that's when that's when we see Buffer's getting ready to get retired, and he tells him, he said, I will see you again in the next game, and I will defeat you. And then Geats is like, yeah, he's like, I will always accept any challenge that you give me. And that's when Buffer retires. We see that Neon also gets retired, but she says that, "Hey, I guess I lost too. So I guess I lost too, and all my efforts, weren't enough." And he's like, "Always believe in your ideals. Never, always believe in your ideals and remember all of that stuff well. And she ends up saying, "Okay, it's all right," and she ends up fading away. And she ends up getting retired herself, and then Geats ends up winning the game. We see that Sumidi, she tells the game master, she's like, "I don't like this wish. Like, his wish should not be granted. We don't know what the wish is, but he's like, I don't like his wish. His wish should not be granted." And then the game master's like, I mean, that's the rules. Like, he won. That's how it has to be. He has to get his wish. She doesn't want to do it, but they ended up granting his wish anyway. And we see him standing on top of a building in a suit holding a rose. And we don't see how everybody else kind of went, but most likely everybody kind of returned back to their regular lives and stuff like that. And hopefully the episode kind of ends off right there, but we do see Panda Cham or Panda Jack, Panda Jack. He's standing there, and we actually hear him speak, and we see his face, and he's like a kind of a dude, black and red hair, got a spiked choker on. Like, we do see who he is, and also in the next episode that's gonna happen in, like, I guess we're on hiatus right now. I guess a week and a half, but we get to see Panda Chan's face reveal, and we get the face reveal of the game master, who is the caretaker, and we see that the game master is the caretaker guy for, the guy who's giving them, like, taking care of them and stuff like that while they're in the DGP, kind of in the DGP's like headquarters, kind of like lounge room. Yeah, that's him. And I didn't think we were going to get like a face reveal for that guy that quickly, or Panda Jack, which, was really cool. But also we see in the next episode that we do get some newer characters. We get like a white goat, a white sheep, and the return of Buffer and Neon. And they both looks like Neon gets a new form. We're gonna get the reveal of a bunch of other like new characters and also new forms. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So no Quinoa though. Quinoa was my favorite character. No Quinoa though, but I hope Quinoa does come back to some capacity when he's all like healed up. Like, he's all like, healed up. I hope he comes back eventually. But man, this episode wasn't a lot. I mean, it was a lot, since we got two big face reveals in this as well, and we'll see the return of Neon and Buffer. But I wonder what Sumidi talked about. Like, she didn't want Ace's wish to be granted, but I'm wondering, what did he wish for? Because for her to react that way, I wonder what that even meant. But I'm wondering if are Neon and Buffer going to remember, anything? Are they going to remember the game? Stuff like that. Most likely they will, because Geats has been in here a long while. So obviously they're most likely going to remember. And I wonder if, since they didn't get their wishes the last time, I wonder if they're going to have some more character growth and their eventual wishes will actually change. Because, Neon's wish is very realistic. Like, you can get that without wishing for it eventually. But I wonder if Buffer's wish most likely will change. But other than that, this is a great episode, man. I really like this monster form. I was hoping that this form would stay exclusive to Geats, because he's the one that made the egg hatch and stuff like that. But we do see that most powers and stuff like that can't be just relegated to just one person. So yeah, that power will resonate the most with one person, but most likely everybody's gonna get a taste of what each form and stuff looks like if they earn it. But other than that, you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think of Kamen Rider Geats episode 9, and I will see you guys next time. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time. And remember, stay henshin.